In Argentina, a former president accused of treason, suspected of covering up a terror attack that killed dozens of Jewish citizens. An investigator brutally murdered right before he presented evidence to lawmakers. And a journalist put on a secret government watch list, his life threatened for uncovering that web of lies. Yesterday, an Argentinian judge concluded prosecutor Alberto Nisman was murdered. That ruling echoes statements from Argentina's current president. Alberto Nisman died 2 years ago. There is overwhelming forensic evidence that Nisman was brutally attacked by two people in his apartment and then shot in the head. He was killed after he accused then-President Cristina Fernández de Kirchner of covering up Iran's role in the 1994 bombing that killed 85 people at the Buenos Aires Jewish Community Center. And he was killed just hours before he was set to testify about his evidence. After more than 2 decades, Kirchner now is charged with treason and obstruction of justice for stopping the international search to find the terrorist responsible. Joining me in our studio is host of our Spanish-language news magazine N24, Damian Prachter. Damian is the journalist who investigated Kirchner and also learned more about Nisman's efforts to find the truth. He left the country after receiving threats and finding out that he was being monitored on secret government watch lists. All right, Damian, thanks so much for being with us. I know this is a big story for you. It was a life-changing story for you. So now we know that Nisman was murdered brutally. Now what? What happens next?
Well, now everything enters in this judicial process. The Argentine justice, we're going to have to define who were behind the attack and under whose order. According to all the evidence, including the forensic, everything that you said, in some way, you see Kirchner footsteps everywhere, meaning she was in some way behind it. Her first files, her second files, third ranks, civilians close to her party officials, all of them were in some way involved, and now we are seeing its results.
And just a few years ago, your co-host on N24, Carlos Gurovich, sat down with Nisman before he was murdered to talk about the investigation. Here's what Nisman told us on I-24 News 3 years ago.
Viola el derecho de acceso a la justicia, viola el derecho a una tutela judicial efectiva, viola la Declaración Americana de los Derechos del Hombre, viola la Declaración Universal de los Derechos Humanos, la Convención Americana de Derechos Humanos, el Pacto Internacional de Derechos Civiles y Políticos, donde garantizan la independencia y la imparcialidad judicial como algo absoluto.
A big question, certainly, Damian, still is what are the chances Kirchner ever really is sentenced to significant prison time, that she stays in a jail cell?
Given the fact that she has been recently elected as senator, the government, the lawmakers are going to have to do a vote with a special majority in order to take her immunity off.